Hi everyone, this is Materim here, and this video is going to be a little bit different. It's not a battle report. In fact, it's a video response to videos posted by MrMalorian and Ant from the Sustainable Center. It started with Ant posting his 10 reasons why he hates Skaven, and Malorian responding back with 10 reasons why he loves the orcs and goblins. And I think this is a great idea, so my first love in Warhammer Fantasy are the Ogre Kingdoms, and so I wanted to just take a few minutes to tell you guys why I love the Ogre Kingdoms and why I continue to play them. Number 10 is the Saber Tusks. I love these models. Aesthetically, they look awesome. These are two that I've painted for my personal army that you're looking at now. And I just think they're cool looking minis. Now, game mechanically, they're also probably one of, if not the best chaff in the game. They're fast. You can take them in units of one, so they can be very maneuverable. Really, the only downside is their low leadership and not being able to benefit from the general. But really, for what they're doing, they're going to be outside of the general's bubble anyway, so it's really not a big deal. And they're cheap enough where if they get scared off the table or they die, big deal. And they're just very cool. They're a cool addition to the fluff. And definitely one of those things that you could believe ogres would be enslaving these mountain creatures and using them for their own benefits. So I definitely love the Saber Tusks. Number 9 is just the wide variety of monster creatures that the ogres have. You see here the Thunder Tusk, the Stone Horns, the Yetis, the Giants. They're just a blast. Yeah, maybe some of them aren't necessarily mechanically the best things in the world, but you know, when you sit down a giant or a thunder tusk or these kind of things on the table, you're gonna impress your opponent because they're great looking models, and you're gonna have fun. I really don't play this game super competitively. I like having cool looking models on the table. The bigger the better, and I definitely think giving the ogres the option for these huge monsters is definitely one of the things that appeals to me. They're fun kits to put together for the most part, and I enjoy painting them. And they definitely can give you a unique look to your army. There's everybody's kind of got their own monsters these days, but I think the ogres, the ones that they give the ogres, are very unique. The Thunder Tusk was my first of the big monsters that I painted up, and there's nothing like it in fantasy right now, and I like that uniqueness. I like the ability to lay down a big old monster and just throw down, and I think that's a general thing that most ogre players like as well. And the number 8 reason why I love the Ogre Kingdoms is the Gnoblars. And I have to admit this is mostly for fluff reasons, because I have had very little in the way of success with them in my armies. But I love the idea that these little goblin wannabes have attached themselves to the ogres of all creatures to avoid enslavement or worse. I think the army book says that occasionally they get eaten, but even that random chance is better than the Gnoblars would have on their own. And so they're kind of nice. They can add a little bit of a comical element to the army, and it's just fun. And the Gnoblar Trapper upgrade is actually pretty impressive. I've had some good luck dealing with knights and heavily armored figures. You just throw a little block in front, throw the Gnoblar Trapper upgrade on them, and watch the dangerous terrain kill knights where the Gnoblars themselves would have absolutely no chance to in combat. So it's kind of a fun little light fluffy thing, but I definitely think it gives a different way to go on some things. And I've even run armies where I've taken nothing but Gnoblars as my core, and it's silly. It's certainly not effective, but it definitely gives you options in what could otherwise become kind of a vanilla army where all you've got are these big monstrous infantry crushers gives you some options, and I always like options, so that's good as well. And reason number 7 is the Morn Fang Cavalry. Again, they're just such great models. You definitely, there's a lot of character to them, a lot of personality, and on the table they're absolute beasts. I don't have very many of them. I just have the 2 pictured here, but be honest, in most of the games I play, they're friendly games. I haven't needed any more. They're amazing when you can have 2 monster cav models hold up entire bricks of other troops, trash light armored stuff. It's pretty amazing. I mean, they're just concentrated whoop ass. And as an ogre player, I have great respect for concentrated whoop ass. So the Morn Fang are definitely a fun toy to have in the arsenal. I don't always take them, but I always have a good time when I do. Number 6 reason I love the Ogre Kingdoms are the Iron Guts. I feel very comfortable in saying that the Iron Guts are the best core unit in the game. They're tough. At 3 wounds a pop, they take forever to kill. And they've just got concentrated ass kicking, like I said with the Morn Fang. Ogres with great weapons can put a hurt on just about anything. And the nice thing is that you can use them in big units and small units. I mean, when I first started playing the ogres, I was all about the gut star. Just fill up a big old unit with iron guts, and there's really nothing that can take them. But as I've sort of played with the army, you can even use these to great effect with 3 models. I mean, minimum size. They've still got a lot of wounds and the ability to dish out an amazing amount of damage, and they can do a lot of work for you. They're great as flank units, and with the army being movement 6, they're fast. They can get to where you need them, and the ability to take a magic banner is just gravy. I love taking the dragon's hide banner on them, getting rerolls on all my ones. Really can't beat it. Reason number 5, the lead belchers. I know a lot of people that play competitively say ballistic base shooting sucks in this edition, but I really don't care. When you've got a big old group of dudes picking up cannons and using them as rifles, there's just something totally cool about that. I love just being able to pick up a big old fistful of dice, toss them, and get 25 to 30 shots at a time out of 5 models. They're just a lot of fun, and like I said, it's another one of those units with the ogres that you can use them in big units, you can use them in small units, and the best thing is, unlike other ranged units, once they get into combat, they're still ogres. So they can put in work as ranged characters, they can put in work as a close combat unit. They're just beat stick, and they do it in a cool way. And again, I love the models. Just the idea of them like grabbing Empire and Dwarf cannons and just running off with them to use as small arms fire is just incredibly cool to me. The number 4 reason why I love the ogres is the man-eaters. They're just a unique unit. No other unit in the game can arm each of the models in the unit individually. So mechanically, they're awesome. The ability to pick different special rules on them, again, just means that when you sit down to play with the ogres, you can get a completely different play experience every time you use the man-eaters. And the fact that GW didn't just sort of make a generic sort of big box with several pieces to put on, but each of the man-eaters is different and has personality of its own. I mean, you got Gold Fag, the first one I've got here, the female man-eater, the ninja, the pirate, the Empire one, which I don't have yet, but that one's next on my purchasing list. But each one that you put down has just a personality of its own, and that's awesome. So many times with Warhammer, the models kind of start blending together, and you look at them more as the unit, But the man-eaters really make you stop and look at each model and see that each model is different, and I think that's cool. And the story of just these are ogres who wander around and do mercenary work for different groups and sort of assimilate into those societies is pretty cool to me. I've definitely, like, once I finish purchasing all of the man-eaters, one of the things I want to do is sort of mock up a man-eater for each of the other major armies as mercenaries for that army. And you can do that. It's cool, and it still fits in the fluff, which I like as a casual player. So they're definitely a lot of fun, both from the game side of things with their mechanics and the hobby side, because they really kind of can spark the imagination for conversions and stuff like that. The number 3 reason I love the ogres are our war machine chariots. Now I'll say this realizing that I may be the only person on the planet that even loves the Noblar scrap launcher, but the idea that all our war machines can move around and charge you once they're done shooting gives them a versatility that is really lacking in a lot of armies, particularly where their war machines are concerned. Because mid to late game, once everything's engaging itself in combat, there's a little less to shoot at, but with these, okay, we're done shooting, let's go ahead and charge 1,000 pounds of angry Rhinox upside this thing's head, which is always cool. And the models are great looking. I love both the old scrap launcher model and the new Iron Blaster. Again, they've got that uniqueness and that flavor, and really builds into the idea that the ogres don't make anything of their own. They're too busy sort of fighting and feasting to do that. But you can definitely see, if you get down the details of where they've cobbled together materials from battles from any number of other races and made these just incredibly destructive engines of war. And I think it not only gives the ogres something amazing in the game to play with, but it gives them a unique flavor and definitely some personality in the fluff and the story, and I love that. The number 2 reason I love the ogres is the Great Maw. And here I'm not necessarily talking about the magic lore, which is pretty awesome in its own right. I mean, you get great buffs with it, and it really doesn't take away from the ogre's ability just to go in and throw down. But no, I'm talking more about the fluff idea of the Great Maw. The idea that the ogres both worship and fear this insatiable mouth is a powerful image. It's very almost Lovecraftian monster style. But one of the things that struck me when I was reading the Ogre book is that the idea that the Great Maw is always sort of whispering in the back of each ogre's head, constantly calling it to come back and be devoured by the maw. And the only thing that holds off that insatiable urge to go to the maw is the fighting and the feasting and the bloodshed. And so it's not so much that the ogres are just evil, it's that they're being driven to do the one thing that allows them to maintain their sanity with the voice of a dark god whispering in the back of their minds the entire time. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that gives kind of an interesting tragedy to the whole ogre idea. I mean, yeah, they're despicable bullies in most cases who would eat you as soon as look at you, but there's a reason behind it, and it's not just, oh, we're the evil people, we're just going to eat your children, whatever. It's literally that their whole society is fleeing from an evil that is almost unimaginable in its scope. And I think that particular bit of fluff is awesome. And when I write fluff for my games and stuff, I definitely include that because I think it's a huge impact on the game and on my enjoyment of it. And the number 1 reason I love the Ogre Kingdoms is simply put their size. Not only do they look awesome on the table when you sit down these big minis down and just compare them to the tiny size of your opponent's 20mm bases on their forces, but the fact that they're the fat guys. As a heavier person myself, there's not a lot of love for the fat guys in any sort of game. I think up until the ogres, really the only ones that were ever presented as such were the greater beasts of Nurgle and the demons of Nurgle and stuff. Um, so it's kind of an image thing. I mean, I root for. We all would like to root for the people who are like us, and I mean, I'm not raised a village to the ground and eaten their farm animals, but I definitely think there's something that I relate to in the ogres, and the fact that they're effective as well is awesome. I mean, you can sit down with an army that really speaks to you and just run across the board and stomp everyone into the dirt. I'm very literally, as they're all monstrous cavalry and all monstrous infantry, and I'll get a stomp attack. But I think maybe it says a little more about me than the army that I get that much enjoyment out of it. But there's just something awe-inspiring when you see a big brick of ogre bulls or iron guts just charge right into a unit of willowy blonde elves and break them over their knees. um, but I definitely love that. I mean, the idea that it's just pure brawn, and that a unit of ogres is literally just a force of nature, and it's a lot of fun just to be able to just put your head down, run straight down the middle, and watch everyone break against you like like waves on the rocks. And that's not to say that they're overpowered. I don't win every game with my ogres by any stretch of the imagination, but there's definitely something about being able to just grab hold of brute strength and go for it as hard as you can. So, but that's pretty much it. My top 10 reasons for loving the ogres. As I said before, they are my first love in Warhammer Fantasy. I'll be playing them for as long as I play this game, very likely. And I definitely think they're my first love. I've got other armies. The demons, I'll be starting the dwarves here shortly, but there's just something about the ogres that speak to me, and seeing kind of everybody else give their love and or hate for different armies. I figured even though I am the new guy on the block, I'd have to step up and represent for the fat guys, and just go ahead and talk about my army and how much fun I have with them. So I appreciate you guys sitting here and listening to me ramble for probably close to 20 minutes, and I definitely love to hear what you guys think about the ogres, whether it's from playing them yourselves or playing against them, whether the community in general loves or hates them. Pretty much sound off. I want to hear about the ogres. So feel free to comment. I keep up with the comments regularly. I'll get some conversation going because I'd love to keep talking about my ogres. But thank you guys for listening. Again, if you like what you've heard, like, subscribe. Hopefully I'll be back with some more battle reports later in the week. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.